I'm so glad that you're here. We've come to the workshop, Carrying On, sharing the stories that have shaped our lives. Today we're going to explore some of the experiences, the people, and places that have created the stories in our lives, and we'll take these 2 hours and delve into how do we share those stories, how can we capture them, save them, and carry them on. So I'll start with telling you a story. I'll start you kind of in the middle of this story. It's my mom's story, really. She was an Iowa farm woman, and she had been widowed for a year or so. She'd been making it on that 160-acre mortgaged farm, sharecropping with someone. And then one spring afternoon, the realtor and a potential buyer came driving around the edges of the farm. And then they came up into the yard, got out of their car, and came to greet my mom. She met him out there in the yard, and they all exchanged the niceties of the day and then got down to business. Seems that the buyer offered my mom a fair price for her 160-acre farm. A widow with 3 daughters. What did she need to be out there for? This was enough money. She could move her girls and live in town. Life would be easier. Fair price. My mom listened. She thought about it. And then, looking those 2 men straight in the eye, my mom said, "Sell my land? No. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about buying some more." I'm here to tell you that when my mom passed on in 1994, she passed on 600 acres of good Iowa farmland to her 3 daughters. She went out and bought some more. And she passed on that sense of solid living to her 3 girls. The idea that the land would take care of us if we took care of it. And an appreciation for that sort of independent, clear-sightedness that my mom had. Now that's just a little bit of that story. Her whole life could be a novel if I would sit down and write it. And I know that everyone here today, we all have those kinds of stories in our lives. We have stories from our parents, from our grandparents. We may even know stories about our great-grandparents or great-great, for some of you who've studied the genealogy. But for most of us, our lives aren't going to be recorded. Probably nobody will ever write a biography about us. We'll never be famous, though some of us might be on YouTube. But it's so important that we find the ways to share our stories and to carry them on to our children and our children's children, and maybe for 3 or 4 generations that we may never meet. But how wonderful that they'll know something about our lives and the ordinary lives of ordinary people back in the day.